Watching News at 10, making the headlines tonight. PM begins his 2 days working visit to Brunei. (1,703) residents taking refuge from floods in Johor. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim arrived in Bandar Seri Begawan today for a 2-day official visit to Brunei. Datuk Seri Anwar was accompanied by his wife, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, for his second official visit abroad since being appointed as Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister. The special aircraft carrying Datuk Seri Anwar and his wife landed at Brunei International Airport at 3:13 p.m. Upon arrival, he was greeted by Brunei Crown Prince Pangeran Muda Mahkota Al-Muhtadi Billah Sultan Hassan Al-Bolkiah. Datuk Seri Anwar was accorded an official welcoming ceremony at the airport. The national anthem of Malaysia Negaraku was played, followed by Brunei Darussalam's national anthem, Allah Peliharakan Sultan. The Prime Minister then inspected a guard of honour mounted by the Royal Brunei Armed Forces. Also present at the airport were Sarawak Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Seri Haji Ji Noor, Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir, Foreign Ministry Secretary General Datuk Seri Amran Muhammad Zain, and the Malaysian High Commissioner to Brunei Datuk Raja Reza Raja Zaib Shah. Tomorrow, the Prime Minister is scheduled to have an audience with the Sultan of Brunei, Sultan Hassan Al-Bolkiah, at Istana Nurul Iman, followed by a 4-eyed meeting between both leaders. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister attended a dinner with the Malaysian diaspora at the Malaysian High Commission this evening. On the second day of the visit, Datuk Seri Anwar is scheduled to have an audience with the Sultan of Brunei, Sultan Hassan Al-Bolkiah, at Istana Nurul Iman. The two leaders are expected to use the opportunity to assess the progress of ongoing cooperation as well as further strengthen relations and cooperation between the two countries. Updates on the flood situation in Johor. As of 8 p.m, 1,703 residents from 468 families are taking refuge at 16 temporary flood relief centres (PPS). Affected districts are Kota Tinggi and Kluang, with Segamat being the worst affected. The Johor Civil Defence Force APM in a statement explained that Segamat was the district with the most affected residents with 1,229, followed by 300 in Kluang and Kota Tinggi 174. 2 PPS were open in Kota Tinggi, while 6 PPS were open in Klang and 8 in Segamat. Meanwhile, Johor Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi in a statement said officers including members of the Johor State Government Council will continue to monitor the situation from time to time. He emphasised that the safety of the rakyat remains the number one priority and he will do his best to ensure that the situation is under control. Previously, Dato' On Hafiz met with flood-affected residents and distributed aid by the state government in Kampung Baru, Sungai Mas, Kota Tinggi. He said the Crown Prince of Johor, Tunku Ismail Sultan Ibrahim, has decreed that the Southern volunteers be mobilised to aid the flood-affected residents in the 3 districts. The Royal Malaysia Police PDRM recorded 1,312 road accidents across the country on the 6th day of Op Selamat 19 yesterday, conducted in conjunction with the Chinese New Year festive season. Bukit Aman Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Director Datuk Seri Mat Kasim Karim said it involved 1,603 vehicles. According to PDRM daily statistics, cars recorded the highest number of cases at 1,160. This was followed by 4-wheel drive vehicles at 210 cases, motorcycles with 184 cases, lorries and vans with 19 cases, buses 5 cases, taxis 4 cases and 1 bicycle and PDRM vehicle. Op Selamat 19 is being carried out for 10 days from 18 to 27th January across the country. Datuk Seri Kasim said traffic congestion is expected to continue until midnight tonight, with an increase in the number of vehicles using the main routes to the city centre. Routes involved included Gombak Toll Plaza eastbound and Sungai Besi Toll Plaza southbound as people return home after the Chinese New Year holiday. Coming up, police confiscated items worth 64.7 million ringgit in 20 days. The number of malicious and false statements spread by SMS or social media platforms have become too widespread. The public is advised to be careful and not fall for such ploys and sharing or forwarding such messages. Remember that spreading fake news is an offence under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This carries the penalty of a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit or up to 1 year imprisonment or both upon conviction. Police believe that the illegal organisation known as Ayahanda Harimau Kumbang, which was busted in a special operation dubbed Ops Selendang around Dungun and Kuala Terengganu recently, was involved in violent crimes and gangsterism. Terengganu Police Chief Datuk Rohaimi Mat Issa said investigations revealed that some of the 21 individuals detained over their suspected involvement in the organisation, including 13 policemen, had acted as debt collection agents and unauthorised vehicle responses. He said the organisation, which was believed to have between 200 and 300 members around Dungun, was also found collecting protection money from its members to avoid any action in case of wrongdoing.
Kumpulan ini telah menjalankan aktiviti iaitu yang mana bentuk tidak semua ahli kumpulan ni tapi yang mana yang kita tangkap ni memang dikenal pasti terlibat dengan beberapa kes iaitu berunsurkan keganasan ataupun gangsterism, elemen gangsterism. Contohnya menjadi orang tengah untuk mengutip wang along hutang along, jadi mereka ni jadi orang tengah untuk kutip dengan menggunakan elemen kekerasan dengan ugutan jenayah. Juga aktiviti menarik kereta secara haram, maksudnya menggunakan juga ugutan jenayah untuk dalam proses untuk ataupun menjadi orang penarik kereta ni.
It was reported that several individuals, including policemen, were arrested for their alleged involvement in an illegal organisation around Dungun last Friday. Briefing reporters today, Datuk Rohaimi said that 10 policemen who were arrested have been suspended since yesterday and the other 2 were still being held on remand until tomorrow, while 2 officers were awaiting action from Bukit Aman. He said during the raids, police also seized 8 cars, 8 sharp weapons, 28 mobile phones, as well as other items. The case is being investigated under Section 43 of the Societies Act 1966 and Section 7 Subsection 1 of the Corrosive and Explosive Substances and Offensive Weapons Act 1958. In a span of 20 days, the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM has confiscated items worth 64.7 million ringgit across 35 raids in 3 states to foil smuggling contraband goods and wildlife. Police also arrested 88 individuals, including 15 foreigners during the raids. PDRM Secretary Datuk Nur Siah Muhammad Sa'duddin in a statement today said 35 raids were carried out in Selangor, Sabah and Perak during the period by the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau of the Special Intelligence Investigation. On the seizure, she said 42.8 million ringgit worth of the goods were seized for offences under the Customs Act 1966, Wildlife Conservation Act 2010, in which 1.2 million ringgit worth of items were confiscated, and Explosives Act 1957, for which 7.7 million ringgit worth of items were confiscated. Furthermore, the operations were also conducted in accordance with the Control of Supply Act 1961, involving a seizure amounting to 10.7 billion ringgit, 2.2 million ringgit worth of items seized through Section 13, Subsection A of the Poisons Act 1952 and Section 170 of the Penal Code. PDRM will continue to carry out integrated operations with other enforcement agencies in the fight against smuggling and various other offences. Malaysians seeking to get Indonesians made have been told to lodge a report with Indonesia's Consulate General Office if agents charge more than 15,000 ringgit per worker. It's Johor Bahru Consulate General Sigit S. Widoyanto said they are still receiving complaints that there were agents charging fees exceeding the limit set through the Memorandum of Understanding MOU signed between the two countries. He added the MOU signed in April last year aims to provide protection to both parties, namely foreign workers and employers. Since the MOU was signed, it is estimated that around 1,000 applications for Indonesian domestic workers have been made so far, and the number is expected to increase based on the current demand.
Biaya untuk mendatangkan pekerja domestik ke Malaysia dari Indonesia itu maksimum adalah 15.000. Nah, di sini memang banyak kemudian maksimum sebenarnya. Kalau maksimum sebenarnya tak boleh lebih. Tapi kenyataan di lapangan saya masih mendengar ada yang jadi 20.000, 28.000. Mungkin teman-teman juga mendengar ya 30.000. Nah, memang inilah kalau ada yang begitu mungkin tolong dilaporkan saja ke KJRI.
Sigit said this in a press conference after attending a get-together session with Johor Media Club members at the Consulate General Office in Johor Bahru today. He also urged Malaysian employers as well as Indonesians who do not have a valid work permit in this country to take advantage of the Labour Recalibration Program 2.0, RTK 2.0 program that would start this Friday. He added that with the RTK 2.0 program implemented by the Malaysian government, employers and Indonesians without valid work permits can apply directly to obtain the necessary documents. The development of the halal industry, especially involving food, is one of the new areas of collaboration that can be explored between Malaysia and Brunei in the post-pandemic era. Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir said the investment of both countries in the development of the halal industry, especially in the production of halal food, can be done well.
Dengan adanya keupayaan Malaysia dan Brunei, khususnya dalam konteks sebagai contoh dalam konteks industri halal ini, ianya akan membuka lembaran baru bagaimana dari segi kualiti dan juga certification dalam bidang industri halal ini akan dapat memberi impak yang baik, kerana Malaysia dan Brunei dilihat antara negara yang sangat dihormati dari segi kualiti makanannya, khususnya untuk orang Islam dalam menentukan tahap halal sesuatu produk makanan itu.
Speaking to reporters in Bandar Seri Begawan, he also said other sectors that can be explored for collaboration are digital economy, oil and gas, artificial intelligence, smart farming and tourism. Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri is in Brunei to accompany the Prime Minister, who is on a 2-day work visit starting today. Brunei is Malaysia's 26th largest trade partner in the world and 6th in ASEAN, with a trade value worth 13.2 billion ringgit in 2022. State-level open houses held in rural areas can have an extraordinary impact and serve as a platform for the state government to create more tourism products in preparation for the 2024 Visit Malacca year. Chief Minister Datuk Seri Sulaiman Mat Ali said such events should be used by all agencies involved, especially the Tourism Promotion Division (BPP), to improve the existing tourism spots. Datuk Seri Sulaiman was referring to the state-level Chinese New Year open house in Kampung Permai Macap Umbu.
2023 adalah tahun persiapan sebab tahun 2024 besok adalah tahun Melaka. Dalam mesyuarat kerajaan negeri tempoh hari, kita perhebatkan lagi kawasan-kawasan pelancongan untuk menyambut pelancong-pelancong yang bakal hadir pada tahun hadapan. Jadi segala persiapan rapi saya bagi tempoh selama 1 tahun untuk memperkemaskan lagi kawasan-kawasan pelancongan sedia ada.
He said the arrival of foreign tourists in Macap Umbu since the past week not only increased the number of tourists in Melaka but also helped to raise the socio-economic status of the residents. On the foreign front, Thai police confiscated over 1 ton of crystal meth destined for neighbouring countries. Stay tuned. Thai police confiscated over 1 ton of crystal methamphetamine in early January from 3 separate cases that were destined for neighbouring and other countries. The 1.145 tons of crystal meth, or ice, were mostly being smuggled inside tea and coffee packages hidden in secret compartments of vehicles. The drugs were being transported from the north and northeastern region and were heading southward to the border areas. Police refused to reveal the market value of the intercepted drugs. 6 suspects have been arrested in relation to the drugs seized. Assistant Commissioner General of the Royal Thai Police, Prachwap Wangsut, said that advanced technology has been used in mass production of the illicit drugs, and authorities will be tightening measures to prevent drugs from slipping through various trafficking channels. He added crystal meth is mostly exported to other countries through Thailand due to the convenience in transportation. Police said an investigation is still underway to widen the search for other escaped fugitives. 11 people were confirmed dead following the mass shooting at the Chinese New Year celebration in Monterey Park, Southern California on Saturday night. The fatal incident occurred at 10:22 p.m. local time in the Star Ballroom Dance Studio, a popular ballroom dance facility which was hosting an event to celebrate the countdown of the Chinese Lunar New Year. According to authorities, the mass shooting left 11 dead and 9 wounded as of Monday. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna has confirmed that the suspect, Hu Cantran, 72, was found dead as a self-inflicted gunshot wound after a standoff with police in Torrance, California on Sunday. In another incident, 7 people were killed in a mass shooting at 2 locations in the coastal Northern California city of Half Moon Bay just days after the shooting in Monterey Park. Sheriff Christina Corpus said that deputies responding to a call found 4 people dead and a 5th victim wounded at the first location in Half Moon Bay, then found 3 more dead at another place nearby. The suspect was later taken into custody after driving to a police parking lot. 2 men in plainclothes and 1 uniformed deputy aimed their guns towards the car and ordered the man to come out. Social media users has expressed a disappointment about the lack of gun control in the US and that citizens seems to feel numb to the frequent occurrence of the gun violence. China's northernmost city of Mohe has hit its coldest temperature on record. According to state broadcaster CCTV, Mohe, which borders Russia to its north, recorded a temperature of around negative 55 degrees Celsius at 7 a.m. local time, breaking its previous record set in 1969 at negative 52.3 Celsius. Meanwhile, Jacinda Ardern today took part in the last political engagement as New Zealand's Prime Minister. Days after stunning the world by announcing she had no more in the tank to lead the country and would step down, the 42-year-old arrived at an annual gathering of politicians and Maori elders in the small town of Ratana. The left-leaning global icon gained attention for bringing her baby to a United Nations meeting and wearing a hijab after a massacre targeting Muslims. Ardern will resign tomorrow and will be replaced by the new Labour Party leader, Chris Hipkins. Britain's Conservative Party chairman ignored questions from over a possible resignation as he faces mounting pressure to step down over a multi-million-pound tax settlement. On Monday, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak asked his independent ethics advisor to look into Zahawi's case. National broadcaster the BBC had been told Zahawi paid a penalty over previously unpaid tax while he was the finance minister, with reports suggesting the fine was millions of pounds. Zahawi has told his allies he will not stand down after a ruling from Britain's tax authorities said he had been careless with his declarations but had not deliberately made an error to pay less tax. In sports, Everton sack manager Lampard after poor run in Premier League. Stay with us. The presence of several new faces have started showing positive improvements toward Kuala Lumpur City FC, especially in the offensive lineup. Coach Boyan Hoda is optimistic that his boys have started to establish links and cooperation between the new and old players in the team.
Everything's fine. We have new signings. Some of them played before in Malaysia, which is much easier for them to adapt. The other players that are new, they're slowly gelling in. So I think that atmosphere is good, so this is most important.
With the arrival of new offensive threats in KLCT FC such as Cheche Kipre and Herlisa Kayon, the 51-year-old is confident that his team will be a strong contender in the new season of the Malaysia Super League. The new season will kick off next month on 24th February. All right, moving on to Premier League. Harry Kane became Tottenham Hotspur's joint record scorer with club legend Jimmy Greaves after scoring his 266th goal for the club and sealed the vital 1-0 win against Fulham earlier today. England captain Kane netted on the stroke of a half-time with a clinical strike from the edge of the penalty area at Craven Cottage. Club's legend Greaves' record had stood since 1970, but Kane's first goal in his last 3 appearances gave him a share of the historic milestone. Kane played despite down with a fever, and club boss Conte admitted he's desperate to reward the selfless star with silverware. Without a major trophy for club and country, Kane has been linked with Manchester United. Kane could break Greaves' record in Tottenham's next match in the FA Cup 4th round at second-tier Preston this Saturday. It is only a matter of time before Kane takes sole possession of Tottenham's most hallowed record. Everton have sacked manager Frank Lampard, British media reported on Monday, after a poor run of form that has left the Premier League club in a relegation battle. Lampard's last game in charge was Saturday's 2-0 defeat at West Ham United, which kept them second bottom of the table on 15 points after 20 games, 2 points below the safety zone. The Merseyside team had been struggling under the former England international, having last won a league game in October when they beat Crystal Palace 3-0 at home. Lampard was appointed by Everton in January 2022 after he managed Chelsea from 2019 to 2021 and Derby County in the second tier in 2018 to 2019. The 44-year-old was sacked as Chelsea manager in January 2021, having returned to the West London club where he holds the goal-scoring record. He took over at Everton after the Merseyside club parted ways with Rafa Benitez, continuing the managerial revolving door at the club struggling to revive former glories. Everton next hosts leaders Arsenal on 4th February, followed by the Merseyside derby at Liverpool on 13th February. Brazil and former Barcelona defender Dani Alves has been moved to a nearby Spanish prison unit 3 days after being taken into custody over allegations that he sexually assaulted a woman. A Spanish court ordered that Alves to be held in custody without bail on 20th January 2023 after his arrest, and since has been moved from Bryans 1 to Bryans 2 prison. Within hours after the arrest, his club, Mexico's Pumas, announced that it had sacked the player because of what it called just cause. Alves, one of football's most successful players, was taken into custody earlier on Friday after being summoned to a Barcelona police station and was then sent before the judge. Catalonian police said they received a complaint on 2nd January from a woman who accused Alves of sexual assault. The charge of sexual assault in Spain can mean anything from unsolicited and unwanted sexual groping to rape. Alves allegedly put his hands inside the underwear of a woman without her consent while she was dancing with her friends and then followed her into a toilet. Alves has confirmed he was at the nightclub at the time, but has denied any wrongdoing, adding that he has never seen the woman before. The Brazilian was in Barcelona on holiday following his participation at the World Cup in Qatar. In tennis, Karen Khachanov advanced to his second consecutive Grand Slam semi-final after Sebastian Korda retired in the third set of the Australian Open matchup with a right wrist injury. The 18th seed was leading 7-6, 5-6, 3-love after winning 7 straight games following a medical timeout for the American midway through set 2. Khachanov.
Kecemasan boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over.
Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Tembika Shah Alam.
PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here. Over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
Why do we tell you stories?
Relevant,
New,
efficient,
accurate,
reliable. We bring you extraordinary stories from around the world, from politicians, bankers, and even your favorite celebrities. This and many more on RTM's English News.
And with that, we reach the end of tonight's news at 10. Headline of the night. PM begins 2 days working visit to Brunei, opening up new chapters of cooperation. Don't forget to tune in to updates at noon tomorrow on TV2 and saluran Berita RTM for more news. You can also watch it online on RTM Click's website and mobile app. Or in case you miss it, you can stream it on saluran Berita RTM's YouTube channel. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Good night, and for those who are on the road, stay safe.